Well, here we are, back again on KKUP. This is a program we call Latino News and Views. And we have two guests today. The first one is Dr. David Lopez. He's president of the National Hispanic University. You can tell us a little bit about that, because so many things have changed at NHU recently, and that's why I wanted to bring you on, Dr. Lopez, because so many things have changed, and there's talk about all kinds of things about what's going on. So I thought, you know what, why don't we hear it from the mero mero?
Sounds good, Jose. First of all, let me congratulate you, Jose, for your 35 years of literally serving the community with this radio program and making a difference. Thank you for this opportunity here today also. So, yeah, a lot of change at the former National Hispanic University. The university is continuing till June of 15. And there's a transition, obviously. And in order to keep Dr. Cruz's, who was the founder, his vision and mission aligned, we're continuing with what we're calling a quasi-teacher college with an emphasis in practice and research and policy. So we're making sure that we are creating an alliance under the NHU Foundation, which is the umbrella organization really leading this. They're the ones that have the vision and the leadership, and they're putting together an alliance, if you will, of entities for practice and research and policy. And under the practice piece, on that campus on Story and White, we're going to be, we'll have in kindergarten through 12th grade. That'll be the clinical piece. For the teacher education piece, which Santa Clara will be doing, and we're very pleased and honored to have Santa Clara involved in this, because they bring a lot of, obviously, brand and reputation and knowledge to creating what I would call competently and linguistically competent teachers for Hispanic students, parents, and community.
So, yeah, so many changes have come in. It started out with that vision that you mentioned, Dr. Cruz's, and actually it started out in Oakland, and then came to San Jose, and along the way, you went from a nonprofit to a for-profit, but with a foundation that was attached to that.
Right.
And how did that experiment?
Well, first of all, you've got to go back to Dr. Cruz's vision. I mean, you're right. He started in Oakland, and he actually came here to First and Gish. We're not too far from First and Gish here at KKUP.
That's right.
And as I went through there, I remember that's where I met Dr. Cruz, and he told me about having a vision where he wanted to educate Latino students in a different way, in a very innovative way, because what we were doing in our traditional institutions was not working. And he said the problem's only going to get greater. This was 20 years ago when I met him, and I got really enamored by his vision and his ideas, and he began to expand this National Hispanic University concept with the idea of educating more Latinos and people that want to work with Latinos. Well, this has continued to transition, and as he passed away, I was very fortunate to be able to take over where he left off, so to speak, because nobody could have replaced Dr. Cruz. He was quite the visionary and just a great individual. So we're continuing exploring, as most institutions today, but our traditional institutions are struggling. I mean, I have to say that our institutions in this state, in this country, have not done a good job, an effective job with Latino youngsters, students, parents, and community. So we're looking to create something very unique in this entity under the NHU Foundation, where we're going to be training teachers to be linguistically and culturally competent for Latino young children, parents, and community. So it's been a transition, but we're continuing to explore and be innovative. We have to be innovative. We'll say, when you look at the numbers today, 51% of the kids in California schools are Hispanic. 41% of kindergartners are English language learners. That's a whole new demographic that this state really didn't understand 20 years ago, especially 50 years ago when the three-tier system of the community college, CSU, and UC were created. They didn't anticipate such growth, such change, such challenges, and we're there. So we're at a nexus. We're at a very critical point in this state and this country, because if we want to have the future workforce, they have to be Latino, and that has to happen because of a quality education. So we're going to be looking for how that works at our institution. We're going to be looking to make sure that we're looking at data-driven best practices, not just impressions anymore. And I think that's what we got to move away from. What we think works, no, we got to move to what the data is telling us works in those best practices.
Well, and that's no different from what Dr. Cruz said when I first met him. So you are continuing where Dr. Cruz left off, and it's very refreshing, and I'm glad to hear that, because that tells me that the vision continues. I knew Dr. Cruz. I met him when he first got here to San Jose, and I was very impressed and excited. And I think one of the other things that it means, and maybe you can talk a little bit about that, is the future instructors. They're going to be coming from our community, aren't they?
Right, that's important. What we are also going to be doing is starting the Roberto Cruz Teacher Academy at the institution that we're working under the NHU Foundation. And in that, we're going to be starting as early as 8th grade to identify kids that want to be teachers, especially bilingual children, move them through the pipeline, move them through a high school, into college, into the credential program, hopefully at Santa Clara, so that they can go back and teach. We're going to be growing our own. These students will obviously be culturally and linguistically competent when they exit the credential program to go work back in the community and make a difference and become the leaders. So this is an exciting time for the NHU Foundation and the work that we're doing there. That are willing to help, corporations that are willing to step up, and foundations to make sure that we're getting the resources to help these children, their families, and the community. And we know we're going to make a difference.
And again, I want to thank you for coming, and I thank you for explaining what's going on. So if anybody has any questions about that, you heard it from the Presidente himself.
Very good, Jose. Look, before we go, I'd like to again thank you for your 35 years of work at a radio station like this, making a difference in communicating and interacting with the community. Jose, thank you very much. Gracias a ti, hermano.
Gracias. Okay, familia, well, we're going to be